Dawes, we'll start off with injury news. What's latest? Any knocks from Tuesday night?
Fortunately, we look like we've got who was available Tuesday is going to be available Saturday. We're waiting on one or two who have been injured. They're going to be 50-50. They'll be assessed tomorrow. But like I say, from Tuesday's game, we've got everyone available.
And just looking back to Mansfield, because it's the first time that we've had a chance to speak to you since then. Powell, obviously, his season is finished now, and just want your reaction on that, and just how big a blow it is for you guys for the remaining games.
First of all, devastated for the boy himself, because he's a great character, and he's worked really hard to get in the position he was in, and he was doing really well for us. And every time he got going this season, he picked up a little niggle or a knock, and the latest one, unfortunately, has ruled him out for the season. And yeah, he's been great for us, so we are going to miss him. He's going to be a loss to us, but we have got players in the squad who can come in, which is fortunate. So we move on, and like I say, we just we'll be there for Powell for what he needs from us moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Mickey said about keeping him involved as well. What are the plans as far as that's concerned?
I think the plan is he's going to do a lot of rehabilitation stuff with Liverpool. I'm sure he'll keep popping into us and seeing the squad and still being a part of it till the end of the season, because I think it's important for his development to do that. But like I say, we'll be keeping tabs on him, and along with Liverpool, we'll making sure his welfare is looked after.
Absolutely. And looking back on the week as a whole, 2 wins in 5 days. Just how important has this week been to get back on track?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that it's been vital that we won them 2 games, because if you look at how tight it is now at the moment, there's no second chances now. You've got to win your games. You don't win your games, you can't look around hoping for results to go your way. We've got to win now. We've got to win now, take care of our own business, and that's that.
When you look at each game in isolation, from the outside looking in, it looked like they required different attributes from the team. Is that fair, or were both games pretty similar in your opinion?
I think all the games in this league are different. I think if you look at the teams we play against, I think the variety and style of plays is contrast to each other. Even if you look at Sutton, moving towards Sutton on Saturday, Sutton will be a completely different game again from the last 2. So you've got to be adaptable in this league, and you've got to be able to go and beat whoever's put in front of you and the style of play that's put in front of you. And it's not easy. That's why it takes the best to go and get promoted.
And 2 of the stars over the last week, I mean, they've been stars over the season as a whole, but how pleased have you been with the youngsters stepping up recently? Elliot Nevitt and Lewis Warrington, they've been crucial in the last few games.
Yeah, they have. They've both done really well. They've both stepped up. I mean, that's why it's important to have a squad of players. I think that's what we've been blessed with this season, is that if last season we'd had the injuries we'd had, I think we'd have found it really tough to replace them. This season, we've got more of a squad. We've got players able to step in, and the lads who stepped in have took their opportunity. And it's important now that the lads who aren't quite getting in at the moment see the impact that they've made, and they stay ready, they stay fit and mentally ready to come and affect it. Because I'm sure between now and the end of the season, everyone in the squad's going to be required.
And I think it's fair that Joe, I don't think Joe would mind us not calling him a youngster, but what's he brought to the team in the last few games since getting back in between the sticks?
I think I think Ross has done great. I think he's been fantastic for us. But I think Joe's just come in and brought that maturity and that experience. He's been in these positions before in his career, and he just adds that calmness now to our play. And like I say, that's nothing against what Ross has done, because Ross has been outstanding for us. But I just think it's at this point of the season, when the heat's on, I think Joe's just added that little bit of experience at the back for us. And like I say, he manages the games really well for us, and I think he's been great since he's come in.
We were talking to Tom Davis about the goalkeeping situation as well. After the recent run of results, did that play a part in getting Joe back in, just for that experience in terms of getting back on the board?
I'm not so sure it was the results, or even like I say, Ross's performances. I think what we were looking at going for promotion and players who've been there and seen it and done it. And Joe was one of them players, and he was there, available, ready. We just thought it was the right time to put him in and help us go and push for that promotion, the automatic spot. So, like I say, I think the timing of it was right, and the proof's in it. The last 2 games, he's been a big, important player for us, and I'm sure he will be till the end of the season.
And how's Ross reacted to that?
you know what goalkeepers are like. They have a unique bond, don't they? I mean, they support each other through everything. And Ross has been as good with Joe as Joe's been with Ross coming through. Because if you remember at the start of the season, Joe actually started the season and was doing really well. And if I'm right in saying he got a concussion in a game and missed a couple of games.
Rochdale?
Yeah, it was Rochdale, but he clashed with Clarkey, didn't he? So he like, it was unfortunate for him because he never done anything wrong. But Ross came in and Ross took his opportunity. And Joe's had to support Ross all this time. And like I say, Ross has been great. He's done the same with Joe.
Definitely. And overall, do you feel that the side's regained momentum in this last week?
I think so. I think, like you say, momentum's so important in football, isn't it? I mean, just winning the games, it's all right talking about it, but actually doing it and winning them games and coming through them and getting your 3 points on the board, I think it's vital for the mentality moving forward. And we're on the front foot now. We've hopefully come through our little bit of a sticky patch, and we've got to look forward now rather than backwards. And every game is vital, like I said before, and it starts with Saturday now, Sutton.
And looking forward to Saturday with Sutton. How impressed have you been with their transition from the National League to League Two? They've had a good season, of course. They're in the EFL Trophy final as well. Yeah, well, it just shows you how strong the conference is, because the teams who do get promoted very rarely struggle when they step up into our league. They always do really well. You look at Harrogate last season, had a good season last season, and like you say, Sutton have done really well, and all credit to them. They're a tough team to play against, especially at their place. But like I say, we'll be aware of their strengths, but we've got to focus on us on Saturday and make sure that it's us that comes up with the points. And Rovers, of course, a couple of years ago, I can think Crawley, Lincoln, Stevenage, they've all done well, haven't they, after getting promoted out of the National League or the conference? Why do you think that is, or does that just emphasise that there really isn't much in terms of quality between the two leagues now? I think the conference over the last few seasons now, I think it's strengthened. I think there's big budgets in the league as well now, if you look at the teams who are in there now. So I think they're in probably a financially better position to go and compete in League Two than some of the teams at the bottom end. So they come in a strong position. And you mentioned the word before, momentum. So when you've gone and been promoted and then you've got the momentum, that stays with you. So like you say, they come up and they do well, and Sutton are no different. They've done really well and they've probably exceeded expectation. But like I say, it's up to us Saturday to go and get the points. And I hear managers all the time you say about what happens on the pitch. That's obviously important in the games. And the pitch itself at Sutton, last season they had AstroTurf in the National League. This year they've had to dig that up and go to grass. In terms of analysis and preparation, how much does that impact preparation in terms of preparing for grass and preparing for AstroTurf? Yeah, it would do. It would do. Like you say, they're grass this season now, which is grateful. But the games do play different on Astro. There's no hiding that. So it's great that we are going to play on grass, and every grass pitch is different. We are always aware. Wherever we go away from home, we always are aware of what the pitch is like, just to be prepared that it might be a different game of football than what we expect. So we're aware of the environment that we're going into all the time. I was looking at the table earlier, Dawesy. It's just so tight, as you mentioned earlier as well. 9 cup finals to go. It is the cliche, isn't it? But does it feel like it's a case of 9 cup finals to go? Yeah, I think we're all aware of it. We don't want to keep banging the drum onto the players about it. Everyone knows about it. We don't have to keep telling them every day. They know that the 9 games to go are so vital now that, like I said before, you've got to win your games. There's no second chances now, because if you don't win your games, you can't look around you for help, because it's not going to happen. You've got to win your games. And then once you've won your game, you can have a little look at the league to check on things. But like you say, you've got to focus on yourselves now. Brilliant. Cheers, Dawesy. Thank you very much.
Hey, Dawesy, how you doing, mate?
Very good, Ant. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Just quickly, when does Leo Connor go away on international duty?
Leo Connor, I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure he goes away. Is it next week, is it, Paul? Yeah, the Colchester weekend. Yeah, he misses Colchester.
Yeah. So he's still available for this weekend's game?
He is, yes. He is.
And is there any chance of Jay Spearing making the squad this weekend?
He trained on the grass today. He's one of the players that we mentioned before that will have to train tomorrow, and we will know more after tomorrow.
Awesome. And we've spoken about Powell Glassell already. But Is there any chance that he could come back to the club next season?
I think that's too early to speak about that, really. I think the relationship that we've got with him and the club is very good. And I think that if he was looking to go out on loan next season, it would definitely be a possibility. I'm sure he would be interested in coming back to us. But like I say, at this moment in time, it's probably not really been in the forefront of our minds. We've got to look after his well-being and then get to the end of the season. Then just we'll probably take it from there then.
Yeah, for sure. And what is the general feel around the dressing room like this week after winning 2 games in a row?
Do you know what, right? The gaffer is brilliant at what he does here in regards to, he keeps everything level. Whether we win, lose or draw, everything's level. When we win a game, we don't get carried away. When we lose a game, we don't get too low. Everything's level and everything's focused, and nothing's changed from that from the start of the season. And the players' focus remains the same. Like I say, every game is important now. It's important we focus on us and we're ready for Saturday.
And how hard is it to sort of keep that focus, especially with so much going on around you, with so many teams in the mix? I imagine that it can be quite difficult at times.
Well, like you just said, then there is a lot going on around us, but we can't affect anything going on around us. We've just got to strip all that away and just focus on the game. All we can affect is the 90 minutes on Saturday at Sutton. And that's all we can focus on and concern ourselves about is individual and team performance on Saturday.
Yeah, and Sutton were one of a very small pool of teams to win at Prenton Park earlier in the season. What's going to be different this weekend?
I don't think the style of play the adopt is going to be any different. We know it's going to be very direct and effective. That's what they do. I'm not saying that they're just direct and they kick it anywhere. They are effective with what they do. They get the ball forward. They've got attacking players who can cause you problems, and they are a threat from set plays, long throw-ins, free kicks, corners. So we're aware of all that, and we've got to be able to stop it on the day.
And after Tuesday's game, Lewis Warrington said to us that the team tends to get sucked into the way that teams play when travelling away from home. But the last couple of games, you have the confidence to go and sort of impact your style on them. Is that going to be the case this weekend?
Yeah, it's always the case. It's when you're playing one style against another style, you've got to impose your style up on theirs. They're going to try and fight so the game looks like their way of playing. We've got to fight so we make it look like our way of playing and we get the better of it. And I think in the last 2 games, I think we've done that. I think the last 2 games, it looked like more of our style of play and we've controlled that. And we've got to do the same on Saturday. It's going to be tough. There's no disguising that, but we are well equipped and we are confident we can go and get a result on Saturday.
And then just finally, spoke to Tom Davis just then, and obviously the experience that he has is vital to the defence. But how important will his experience, Clarkey and Joe as well in goal, how important are they going to be to the running?
Yeah, every player is important. So what we're trying to come away from is just the senior players taking the responsibility. I think the other players have. I mean, if you look at the other players in the last few games, you've mentioned Lewis Warrington took it upon himself, and he's had an assist and a goal over the last couple of games. And then you look at, I think Callum MacDonald in particular, the last couple of games has took a big responsibility on him. We can't just go and get promoted with 3 or 4 senior players. We need everyone in the squad and everyone who's on the pitch to take that responsibility. And like I say, the last 2 games have been really pleasing in that regard, that they've took the responsibility on themselves to go and make sure we win the game.